very special edition of Fallback tonight.
She doesn't even go here.
That's right. This is a Pride edition of Fallback Friday. I'm joined by rock legend Melissa Etheridge, two-time Grammy winner, Billboard Top 100 hits that you know, like I'm the Only One and Come to My Window. She also won an Oscar for Best Original Song in the documentary An Inconvenient Truth. She's a trailblazing advocate for LGBTQ rights, headlining the closing ceremony of World Pride right here in New York City. And her new album is The Medicine Show. But that's not all. I am thrilled to tell you we also have actor and comedian Daniel Franzese, who of course played Damien in the iconic movie Mean Girls.
I am beautiful in every single way. Yes, words can't bring me down. Don't you bring me down today.
He also serves as an ambassador for the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation and received acclaim for his portrayal of an HIV-positive character in the HBO series Looking, and is currently traveling for his stand-up show, Yes, You're Amazing, the tour. I hope I said that in the ballpark.
Yes, you're amazing. That's like
That was way better.
That's pretty bad. It's close.
That was way better.
It's more in the pocket.
This is a special edition of Fallback. Let's get right to it. Melissa Etheridge, who needs to fall back?
Oh, you know who needs to fall back is Mr. Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee has been saying, claiming all these transgender, everybody's, this is not Mike Huckabee. I know we've had trouble with Mike Huckabee before. Do you remember when Mike Huckabee had a television show?
Sure. And it was a music show at times.
Music show, he plays bass. Well, he had me on the show, and I was like, yeah, I'm there. Totally, because anytime I can cross the lines, anytime I can find myself in front of people that might not see me, that can see, oh, here's a gay person, and you know what? Yeah, music is the same. And Mike Huckabee said that to me at the time. He goes, we might not agree on our politics, but music is universal. It was a beautiful, loving moment. I want Mike Huckabee to remember that. I want him to remember what he said. He does not have to be part of the politics of division. It's not working for any of us. We could say horrible things about him. We do not need to. We need to come together now. It's time to stop blaming each other.
I appreciate that. I love that your fallback is a little bit of a fall forward and inviting him maybe back to the way you felt he was. Amen. What about you?
I'm here to talk about it's Pride, so the environmental impact of glitter. It's something people do not think about, but it's true. I worked with Lonely Whale to help remove the single-use plastic straws, and just thinking about things that we didn't consider in the past, how maybe rice at a wedding wasn't good for birds, and now we've switched to rose petals and things like that. So now here we are having to focus on glitter, which is an impossible thing to remove from environments. There's all these festivals, there's all these things that happen, and the glitter just gets everywhere, and we can't remove it from the earth.
Now,
I know it seems silly, but it makes you think.
I am thinking.
I got you thinking.
You got me thinking. I'm torn because I also love the environment, but I love glitter.
You love a little good.
And looking at you, I don't know exactly what it is, but if you don't mind me commenting, it seems a little.
We'll see. How about glitter responsibly? Is all I'm asking
how about some biodegradable glitter?
Anything else on your mind, Melissa, that might want to fall back?
Oh, let's fall back on the transgender military ban.
The military ban that Trump has stayed on.
Yeah, I mean, why? We moved way beyond that. And if people want to serve, if anyone wants to serve our country, if anyone wants to put their life on the line, let's support that. Our troops can handle it. It's just I think there's some folks that don't want to pay for.
Do you remember where you were when you first heard that's what President Trump wanted to do?
Oh, I don't remember where I was, but I do remember when I met Trump at a gay wedding. So seriously, all of this gay bashing by people that just don't.
I feel like the connective tissue in your stories tonight are Huckabee and Trump. That when it's right for the money or the media or other things, they're fine with everyone. It's like you're saying they're almost. And this is a problem. They're almost pretending to appeal to more bigotry than they might live in their normal lives.
Completely. If the big super PAC came from gay people, trust me, it would be way different. Out there, it's about money right now.
Before I let either of you go, I want to talk a little bit about your work as well. How do you feel about being so associated with this beloved character, but as we just mentioned, you're doing all this other stuff, but I imagine a lot of people still come up to you for Mean Girls, which is one of my favorite movies.
I lean into my character on Mean Girls because it meant a lot to a lot of people. It was a visibility for an LGBTQ teen in a movie where he didn't have to fear for his life during the movie. He wasn't pushed in a locker, had his head dumped in a toilet. And I got a fan letter around the 10th anniversary that said, when I was in 8th grade, I was beat up for being chubby and tortured for being a sissy. But then when I was in 9th grade, your movie came out, and on the first day of school, the popular senior girls were like, "You're like Damien, come sit with us."
Wow.
So it's brought a lot of sanctuary for a lot of people, this movie, and this character being like pretty much the first LGBTQ teen and of size to be seen in something and not have to fear for his life.
What do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's representation is everything.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful community. People should get to know people that they feel uncomfortable with. People should just stop judging and let's move forward.
How would you apply any of that to the very successful career you've had in a period where obviously the acceptance or tolerance has, I think it's fair to say, evolved over time?
Oh, much, yes. When I came out 26 years ago, it was very different. What's been beautiful is we haven't been able to put it in a box and say, okay, this is gay and this is lesbian, because once you do that, then it becomes, well, then there's trans and there's all this gender. And the beautiful thing is, I think the gay community is pushing our whole society and humanity into really saying, look, you can't nail any of us down. You can't say this is right, this is wrong. There's things that make people uncomfortable. There's things that people fear because they don't know. Mm-hmm. But just moving forward, just loving, if you're going to judge someone, judge them on their character.
Right. I love having you guys here for this special edition of Fallback. I appreciate you both making the time for it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Be around you legend.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.